of what things look like at 10 a.m. And you see some of those darker blues pushing back in, and actually that's proving out pretty nicely on the radar as well. On and off, we're getting some steadier snow coming through D.C. We can only expect that to continue to come together with general totals of about 3 to 6 inches of snow, I'd say, especially from D.C. northbound. South, it starts dropping off, but we've already seen a solid 1 to 3 inches at least, if not 2 to 4 in different neighborhoods. We're going to check on that in a minute, but we've got some slick roads, very slow commuting going on as we wrap it up for the morning commute and head towards the midday. Out toward Reston, Potomac, still some pretty decent snow rates coming down here. You see around Sterling. This is what we call range folding that's occurring right now. So this doesn't mean that there's not any snow here. It actually just means we're very close to the radar site, and that kind of messes with our radar beam a bit. But you see that heavier band that's kind of broken in two, again, by that range folding that I was talking about, that is going to be swinging eastbound, and that's going to be impacting D.C. So there's the big snow that continues to wrap up around what is a coastal system that is now developing that could throw another couple inches of snow our way. And you see right around the area of D.C. all of these reports. Washington Grove, 3.9 inches of snow. Places like Reston getting up to about 3 inches of snow thus far. And the pictures are also rolling in. Caitlin's here to help me out with some more team coverage this morning.
Yeah, Jonathan, I'll take off that Reston snow total and show you what it looks like out there. We got this photo in from one of our weather watchers, just a winter wonderland as so many folks are waking up early this morning. Hopefully you can stay home and stay safe because the roads are quite difficult to travel out there, but you can easily see why. Check out how much snow we've seen in Bowie. I think that snowfall total is just over 2.5 inches right now. I'll have those updated totals coming up for you in just a few minutes. A lot of folks out and about in the district this morning, walking around, checking out that fresh snowfall. This is a photo sent in from DuPont Circle from Joe Flood. Even before the sun rose, just looks so beautiful with all of that fresh accumulation on top of all of the snow that we saw Monday into Tuesday. We'll show you another couple photos we got here from D.C. Lincoln Park looking so nice. Scott from D.C. Police sent in this photo. A lot of folks will have a cleanup on their hands this morning, but thankfully not so much snow that it should take too much trouble. But if you can get outside, enjoy the snow today. I'll have a look at those updated snowfall totals coming up in just about 10 minutes. But I want to send things back over to Jonathan because this snow not going anywhere over the weekend with his Arctic air.
Yeah, super cold heading into the weekend. We're talking about temperatures that will not even hit freezing again for tomorrow. And that's after we put down, again, this is our updated snowfall total map as of this morning with that big burst of snow coming through with a little more gusto than initially expected. And now our coastal system that's developing off the Maryland-Delaware coastline, potentially throwing back a little bit of extra snow. Got an updated total of about 3 to 6 inches of snow expected across much of Maryland, as well as extreme northeastern Virginia. That includes Leesburg, as well as even the district, although the district's going to be closer to that kind of 2-3 inch line. You see very much on the gradient, if you will, between the 1 to 3, 2 to 4, and 3 to 6, very close by. Winter weather advisory continues until 7 p.m. this evening, and also a winter storm warning areas north of D.C., including Montgomery and Loudoun counties, as well as Frederick County. Temperatures are below freezing, so you do have to be aware that you will have some treacherous road conditions. Now we're going to toss it on over and take a look at what we have going on outside across all the multiple areas. Very nasty start to your day.
All right, the snow impacting everything from schools being closed and roads being a mess, but a huge rally planned on the National Mall still slated to go on in about 3 hours. Jess Arnold is down on the mall this morning. And Jess, what do people need to know if they're still planning on coming to this?
Yeah, well, clearly the area right on the mall where the sidewalks are, where a lot of people are typically walking, and we still have seen people out walking their dogs out here running, is not clear at all. This still has all of the snow that we've seen accumulate throughout the morning. Now it is still having that light dusting that we had last seen in the last hour, but it is picking back up a little bit out here. Now again, as I said, this snow will not stop the runners of DC. We know there's a big cohort of people who will go out regardless of the weather. As you mentioned, though, there is that March for Life that's happening today, so we'll have to see how it impacts that. But we have seen people out with their signs already. You can see some of them there at the corner. And so they're already gathering for this march. So at least some people do plan to come out for it. Now, as we're looking this way, you can see that some crews are out here trying to clear some of the roadways. They are slushy right now. I wouldn't say that they're too bad as we're driving along here, as long as you're in those areas that the plows have been able to reach. But again, we're in that break period, so we have seen a lot of those trucks out continuing to salt to make sure that we're ready for when it intensifies again. But as you can see, people are now coming out here as it's slowed down a bit to try to at least enjoy this winter weather for now. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Jess Arnold reporting, getting ready as they get ready for the March for Life rally. Thank you, Jess.
Well, our crews have been out in the snow all morning long, and our advice to you, definitely stay off the roads. But if you have to drive, watch your speed, take it easy. And our Marcella Robertson spent the morning tracking the snow along the I-270 corridor. So, Marcella, I know you're agreeing with all that. But now you're at Stratton, a local park in Bethesda, a really popular spot for sledding. Do you see anybody out there?
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, you know, we had to stretch our legs a little bit. We've been tracking those roads for you, and this is what those neighborhoods look like, right? I mean, completely untouched. Again, you said a Stratton local park here in Bethesda. I'll tell you, we had one lone sledder. They left about 5 minutes ago, but I mean, when you have a snow day, first things first, right? You got to sleep in. So hopefully things will be a little bit busier out here later today. Because I mean, look at this, right? You've got this huge park. You've got a great hill. You've got a nice angle, plenty of room, so you don't get hurt as you come down the hill. And here, you know, it just looks beautiful out here. We've seen a couple people walking their dogs, letting the dogs run out here. And take a look, several inches for sure. It is nice, powdery, maybe about three, almost 4 inches or so. Again, this is what a lot of the local neighborhoods look like, just completely untouched. You don't have any of the plows. Nobody's really walked through it, so it is really nice compared to what we've seen on the roads and some of those major highways this morning. Again, if you do head out this morning, we have been tracking those roads, and MDOT really warning people to give those snowplows their distance. Keep your distance if you do have to head out. But again, we're here at Stratton Local Park, really a winter wonderland, and hopefully we'll see some sledders out here later today. Back to you.
It's clearly a perfect place to go sledding. And Marcella, I think the perfect conditions is calling your name. So get on out there and sled. Thanks so much.
I don't think that's going to happen right now.
She's like, no.
She laughs, maybe baby Noah. But our Matt Gregory is in Loudoun County this morning. We're going to check in with Matt in just about 8 minutes.
And we're just getting started on this special 9 a.m. edition of Get Up DC. Still to come, tips to keep you safe indoors as you keep warm with space heaters. We'll be right back.
Welcome back in. It is 9:10 and you're watching our special coverage of the second winter storm in a week. Let's take a look live now at the Washington Monument. This is courtesy. Can we even see it there? It's almost like whiteout conditions, right? Just because it's you know, a white monument, but we can see it from the monument Earth Cam looking down on the National Mall. I know it's there. Our city looks gorgeous when it's covered in snow. It really is a pretty city in the snow. Jonathan, let's send things over to you. And so is that snow or just sort of fog and precipitation that's obscuring that view from the monument?
I think we have some snow out there.
That's,
you can see here our temperatures are going to be really, really hard pressed to get much above freezing today. The on and off light snow going to be in the picture pretty much, yeah, all day long. So get ready here for the potential of seeing on our 7-day forecast, not only the snow, but then also going to be seeing temperatures that are having a hard time getting above freezing for today. So that means that we are going to have more accumulation issue, as well as on Saturday, some cold air. That also means you're going to have to bundle up in layers and the potential of some refreeze before a warm up well into next week. But for now, we are tracking redeveloping snow across the area, and we'll let you know how long it lasts in a few minutes.
And right now I can see that snow coming down on 270, especially in Gaithersburg. So take it slow if you are heading out the door. MDOT has done a wonderful job treating our main interstates. It's more these bridges, on-ramps, off-ramps, and overpasses that I'm a little bit worried about, as well as those outside shoulders of the roadway. So prepare to leave your house early if you do have to leave. Interstate conditions look much better than they did earlier this morning. Coming in from Gaithersburg to the Spur, about 12 minutes for you. 44 minutes coming in from Frederick and about 28 minutes coming in from Columbia.
When we come back, we will check in with our Matt Gregory with the latest on conditions in Loudoun County.
WUSA 9 Weather Watch Alert is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Welcome back in at 9:15. Our Matt Gregory has been tracking conditions this morning, all morning long since 4 a.m. in Northern Virginia. Matt's currently in Leesburg and Loudoun County. And Matt, what are some of the things that you're seeing on the roads that people need to know about? You know, because some of them have to get out there and hit the roads. So what's the advice out there?
Hey, Allison, if Marcella was in a winter wonderland, I'm in a winter blunderland. There's a higher potential here for driving incidents, it looks like, just from what we've seen. I'll show you what Leesburg Pike looks like as it turns into East Market Street, right? Look at it. I mean, it's got slush on the side of it because they've been treating the roads very well, as Lindsay pointed out, and plow trucks have been coming through, but it still has potential to be difficult for braking and for accelerating, right? And to give you an idea of how bad the roads were on our way out to Leesburg, I'm going to take you over here. This is just a side road into a shopping center, right? But this is what my photographer Mark and I experienced on our drive over. Roads like this, right? Ones where you can see there's, you know, a bit of slush here, slick spots, and it didn't get as much plowing done as you would like to see for a major roadway. But that was from about Tyson's to Leesburg. Looked kind of like that. Now, I'll give you an idea right now. This is about how much snow's fallen. It's hard to tell, right? It's all just kind of a mess, but it's about, like, you know, I would say 3 or 4 inches. You can kind of see the pavement right there. And it's, as far as the consistency of the snow, it's like this. It's kind of good for packing. But other than that, it's kind of like just one of those days where, as we pointed out, a lot of people have to be at work. So if you do, you know, take it slow. Remember that braking is going to be difficult. You might skid a little bit, so give yourself time. And if you're accelerating, also slowly accelerate so you don't fishtail. Just important to keep your eyes peeled and to be aware as you're driving today, especially in Loudoun. In Leesburg, I'm Matt Gregory. Back to you.
Well, Matt, if you need a little bite to eat and maybe get your oil change, you're in a good spot.
Yes, I am.
All right.
I've been sampling the wares of Leesburg for the last 2 hours.
Thanks, Matt. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
All righty. Jonathan, it's still really treacherous out there, all seriousness.
All right, take us out to Leesburg, why don't you? Anyway, we are dealing with, more seriously, some more redeveloping snow. We promised you here after about 9 o'clock this was going to start coming back together a little bit. And you see the west and north side of the Beltway here right along the 495 marker east of Potomac, right around 190. There's some heavier snow that's now beginning to kind of come down in bursts as you work west toward Reston, where we've had some reports of at least 1 to 3 inches of snow there. There's still some pretty good snow that's coming down west on 66 as well. Let's take you here out into Virginia, where this snow is, again, kind of beginning to come together a little bit better for us. Sterling down to Chantilly, Haymarket, Warrenton, west towards 17 and again 66. That's where some of the heavier snow currently is right now. And then again up toward Montgomery County and then the Baltimore metropolitan area. We said, yes, that this is going to start backing in as a coastal system begins to really start firing up here. It's taking the energy of the inland system, and the idea was that that energy transfer was going to make a lot of the snow miss us during the day today. Now it looks like this coastal system is forming a little farther south and west than previously anticipated, so that'll lock in that snow for longer around here. And that's why I've added in that 3 to 6 inch band right along the district points northbound. As you get down towards DCA, that's where kind of the cutoff is. You start dropping down quickly down to 2 to 4 and 1 to 3 inches there. But Caitlin's out there in the elements in the snow. And how's it going? Are we talking easy snowball snow or bad stuff?
Jonathan, it's still a little bit powdery, but with all of the snow that we saw Monday into Tuesday that's compressed, I think that'll help a lot of folks have those safe snowball fights, and build some snowmen later today. I brought out my ruler hoping to get a fresh measurement here on the weather terrace, but our crew here at WUSA 9 is too quick. They've already cleaned it all up, so it is safe for us to come out here on the terrace, but it is looking like quite the winter wonderland. We've got what I like to call mood snow falling right now. Just some fine flakes, nothing that's continuing to accumulate, at least not as it stands right now, but we've seen some pretty impressive totals so far. Gaithersburg, Maryland picking up just under 3.5 inches, just over an inch in Colesville. Vienna, Virginia closing in on 3 inches right now at 2.8. Falls Church clocking in just over 2 inches. Warrenton at the 1.5 inch mark. We just got some updated totals in from the National Weather Service just about 30 minutes ago as well, bringing us up to 3.6 in North Potomac. Leesburg currently sitting at 3.5. We've got a total of 2.5 in Bowie, Alexandria, under the 2 inch mark at 1.8 in Waldorf, Maryland. also looking at 1.5. So all in all, the cleanup shouldn't be too bad given the light nature of the snow right now. But coming up, we'll talk about why that treatment and that salt is going to be so important as we look ahead toward the weekend, Jonathan, because it is going to get cold.
Yeah, Arctic chill moving back in once again. You remember what happened earlier this week, the snow, then the cold. That's going to happen again for the weekend, so be prepared. Winter weather advisory continues the area in purple. That's along the Beltway 66 out to the west. But then again, there also is a winter storm warning. That's the area in white that you see here. That goes from Gaithersburg up to Frederick, Carroll County, Maryland, and back to Loudoun County. So keep that in mind, too. That's where things are going to be the absolute worst. But either way, what's falling is laying. Temperatures 25 to 30 degrees right now. And with the clouds and the snow not really helping matters, it's going to keep those temperatures tempered and clamped down. Now, this is our high-resolution Futurecast computer model. It's been coming in hour by hour by hour. And a new one this hour saying, yes, the snow re-intensifying through about that 9 a.m. hour. And then by, say 12:30 or so, we're talking about this darker blue trying to push down toward D.C. So that means maybe adding on a few tenths, maybe another inch of snow potentially. That goes all the way into the remainder of the afternoon and this evening, although feathering out and turning more so into just snow showers and flurries, I think, after about 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. So today, it's your snow day, 35 degrees with the occasional snow that's going to go all the way through the early to mid-afternoon. You see the visibility is not too good as we take a look in the background at DCA. And then blustery cold, there's those frigid temperatures, some refreeze possible during the weekend, especially in the mornings. Does warm up nicely with a meltdown by the middle and end of next week. Now Lindsay is checking in, and she's been taking a look at some of the roadways. The big fat flakes are flying again.
That's right, Jonathan. Starting to coat our roadways again, too. This is a live look for you at 270 around Rockville. We have steady snowflakes coming down around Rockville, Gaithersburg, and even some in Frederick, although interstate conditions have been treated, so they're honestly not that bad. It's more these bridges, on-ramps, and overpasses that I'm worried about. Any elevated structure is going to freeze over first and will have the potential of refreezing even once that snow all clears out of the way because of how cold these temperatures are. Right now, we currently have an accident on 270 northbound around Watkins Mill Road. Right lane is blocked off to traffic, and I'm really worried about those outside shoulders on 270 as well. Another crash on 370 heading westbound, getting towards 270. One lane is completely blocked off there, and that outside shoulder is also closed. We have an update for everyone that likes taking GW Parkway too, and just a hint, it's not a good update. I'll have that information for you coming up.
Well, stick with us during this Weather Watch Alert. After this quick break, we have important safety tips to keep you, for you to keep in mind if you're using a space heater to keep you warm on this snowy Friday. Get up, DC.
Put a baby in. Okay, bye everybody. I'm going to the bathroom. Well, your heating system might be struggling to keep up in these really cold, frigid temperatures, which is where space heaters can be helpful. Only if they're used safely, though. The important thing to think about here is where it's plugged in. The space heater should go directly into a plug on the wall, not an extension cord or a power strip. That's because plugging it into any kind of extension cord is a big fire hazard. They just aren't equipped to handle the high electrical current that's required to power a space heater. So the cord or strip could overheat, cause a fire. Another thing to know, the Electrical Safety Foundation warns against plugging anything else into the same outlet as the space heater because the outlet itself could then overheat. And when using a space heater, place it on a hard, non-flammable surface. Avoid placing it on a rug, carpet, cabinets, and make sure it's at least 3 feet away from anything else that could burn, like clothing or curtains. And don't leave a space heater running unattended in an empty room or when you are sleeping. A lot to know, but it really could be the difference between life and death. We'll be right back.
.30 is our time. Welcome back into a special edition of Get Up DC. You don't want to be out there on the roads today unless you absolutely have to. And for those of you who need to head out, we of course understand, and we've got you covered across the DMV.
We got it because we had to head out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we understand. We still have a few more hours left in this storm. A winter storm warning remains in effect for parts of our area, while the rest of you are under a winter weather advisory.
We have team weather coverage this morning. Caitlin, well, she's in teaming up with Jonathan. They're both tracking the storm, and we're going to start with Jonathan because, Jonathan, for the second time this week, snow lovers are in heaven.
Yes, they are. Now, the commuters, maybe not so much, and that's why we have our team coverage here for you. Snow lovers rejoice. More snow coming down, and take a look here along 66, just north and west of the Beltway. There's a pretty good band of snow that's working in here. You can kind of see the darker blues right around the area of Potomac, I would say right now, and that will continue to impact those areas again, north and west, for another maybe 15, 20 minutes, a half hour. We'll have to see if that's going to continue to swing eastbound. And that's what I'm counting on to get some of those 3 to 6 inch totals that could impact places in D.C. And Prince George's County, Montgomery County. You've already gotten some of those 3 to 6 inch totals here. There's more that's up north and east into portions of northern Maryland. And then there's a batch of snow that's in central Virginia that's moving east around Catlett, as well as Nokesville, Midland, right south of Route 15 and 66. This big system now is beginning to reform along the coast, kind of jumped from here inland to here off the Maryland-Delaware coastline. So that's why I see that moisture backing back in from the east. So more to come. We're not done yet. We're going to get into exactly how much you're going to expect over the next several hours and the rest of the day in a couple of minutes. But for now, we've already got stuff on the ground, and Caitlin's here to show you.
Yeah, Jonathan, we can always rely on our weather watchers on days like today to deliver those great photos we love to see. And Vanetta in Manassas nailed it with just one submission on the Near Me app. She got 3 of my favorite pictures to get on a day like today. First, we've got the pups in the snow. I mean, look at them. They were clearly having a great time because they've got snow all over their face. And then how about this photo as well? You've got that beautiful red cardinal tucked away there in the snow-covered trees, and a classic snow day photo whenever you get that accumulation on the patio. Now, something to keep in mind if you're taking snowfall measurements today, hopefully you cleaned off a portion of your driveway, sidewalk, wherever you take that measurement from, so that we can get a clean reading. We also got a great dog photo out of Rockville. Ada loves a good snow day. Sure looks like they do, Megan. Thanks for sending in your photos. Again, you can always upload them to the Near Me section of our WUSA 9 app. We'll have much more on some of those snowfall totals continuing to come in just a few minutes, but I do want to send things back over to Jonathan with more on what we can expect as this storm continues to pull away.
Dogs in the snow. That's funny. Some dogs like it, some dogs not so much. We have one that does, and then our little one not so much. So, any case, the amounts of snowfall that we've seen, some of our storm reports coming in already with about almost 2.5 inches at Reagan National Airport. That coming in as of about 7 a.m. this morning. It's been fairly light, so I'm not thinking that we've tacked on too much more there, but about 3 inches near Reston. And then we also got a report of 3.6 inches right along the area of Boyd's up in Montgomery County, and then Somerset right on the D.C. and Montgomery County line, getting about 2.2 inches of snow. A lot of these reports, again, coming in from earlier today, Lincolnia, at about 2.4 inches. This is what we expect in total, not on top of what we've seen, but in total. Could be another inch or two. That means about 3 to 6 inches here in the district and points north. I'm going to let you know how long this is going to hang on and if the impact is going to be there for the afternoon commute in a couple of minutes.
I bet it will be, Jonathan, but thank you. We'll wait for that. In the meantime, we have reinforcements this morning on Get Up DC. Our Leslie Moreno has joined us this half hour. Leslie is in Northern Virginia in Arlington County. Good morning to you. How are the roads where you are?
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, we have been driving around Arlington, Virginia, tracking these conditions for you. And by we, I mean myself, my photographer here, Edwin, and of course, this is Willie Washington, our WUSA 9 snowman. You can see his body hasn't fully developed yet, but I do want to point out he's got a smile on his face. He's going to be following us around all day. He's the expert here, so he's going to be helping us track these conditions for you. We are right off of Richmond Highway. I want to show you the highway here. You can see crews have cleared out the roads here. You can see cars driving by. For the most part, nothing major, no accidents that we've seen here. Like we've been mentioning all morning and all night last night, crews are tackling these major highways, the major roads first and foremost. We do want to point you to the side road here, though. You can see the big difference. Slushy, slippery, slick. I can tell you we've seen several cars since we've been waiting out here in the last 10 minutes. They've been sliding out as they're coming up the hill here, going down. So if you do have to be out, again, we want to make sure that you're staying, being careful that you're driving slow. If you're going 30 miles, if the sign says 30 miles, try to go at least 10, 15. That's what we've been doing. So again, be safe out there and drive slowly. Guys, we'll toss it back to you.
All right, and that snowman is super cute. Let me see him. Yeah, he's adorable. All right, Leslie, thank you.
Willie Washington, the snowman.
With the little USA 9 cap on.
I know, he's
Yeah.
got style. All right, 9:36 is the time right now. Our Scott Broom has also joined us this half hour. He's live in Prince George's County this morning. Good morning to you, Scott. Now, Leslie had a snowman. What do you have for us?
I got snow up to my ankles.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Tom Campagna is my partner behind the camera. He's going to pan down. And, between these two storms, this is about where it stands right now. And still coming down, a moderate snowfall right now where I am. Okay, so I'm on I-95 to the north of the city. This is the safest place we could pull over on a big highway. It's the rest area. Just north of Laurel. All right, so that's where we are. You can see the interstate behind me and the big trucks, largely well-cleared, wet roadways on these primary highways. That's not what it looks like on your side street, but for people who are traveling on the interstates in primary roadways around the area, this is pretty typical of what we've seen. Does that mean it's completely safe? Of course it doesn't, because there is slush still piled up after plows go by and they run their salt, their lines of slush, they grab your wheels, they tend to pull people in ditches, and so this is a significant challenge this morning. Here's some of that slush I was talking about right here. We're going to go out on the ramp, that kind of thing. A lot of the truckers have pulled over, the interstate truckers, to take their time getting through the region, but they're moving on the primary highways in this region right now. Elsewhere in Prince George's County, no major incidents to report right now because most folks are staying home. Reporting live off I-95 North, Scott Broom, WUSA 9, back to you.
All right, Scott Broom, thank you very much for that report. We were joking at the beginning, but those roads can get a little tricky and treacherous. So if you are out there, just be careful, slow down, take your time.
You're exactly right.
Yes, thank you, Scott.
We had a good amount of snow out there.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I love how he showed it.
I know, right? Crews are continuing to treat the roads as the snow falls, but most of the work can't be done until the snow stops falling. So to get a better sense and idea of how they're preparing, we're joined by Nia Brown right now, spokesperson for Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation. Nia, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Okay, we're seeing this fast falling snow and a good amount of snow depending on where you live. We just saw our Scott Broom up in Laurel, west of Laurel, at a truck stop. How are crews handling this situation? Because there's a lot of snow out there.
For sure. There's definitely a lot of snow coming down. At Prince George's, at the Department of Public Works and Transportation, we were anticipating about 1 to 3 inches originally this morning. As snowfall continues, we are now expecting about 2 to 4 inches. So we are operating now in a full snow operation just to ensure that there aren't going to be any slippery roadways or icy conditions so that we can have safe roadways for our citizens and for our county residents. We are advising those that don't need to go out into the weather to please remain at home and to remain safe. We are operating on a 2 12-hour shifts, so around-the-clock shifts. We are having about 199 persons, come out and help us during this entire snow operation. So that 199 personnel does include DPW&T workers as well as contractors. We are expecting more snowfall in the evening of Friday. So again, we're just advising for motorists and to other county residents to just remain safe if they do have to venture out onto those roads today.
And based on what our Scott Broom shared with us, it does sound like many people are heeding the warning and staying off the roads. Hopefully that helps the crews. But we do see, I know standard operating procedure is to hit those main roads first. When can people expect crews to reach those secondary spots?
For sure. Our roadways have actually been occupied with crew members since last night. We've been in preparation for this pretty much for the entire week because this is coming the backhand of the earlier winter storm earlier this week. So we've had crews outside since about 11 p.m. yesterday, salting and brining some of our roads as well as doing other snow operations. And they will continue that operation up until later on this evening. And we will continue into Saturday if need be. We do, hit those primary roadways first. And then secondary roadways come shortly after that, and then residentials. So we are just advising for, county members to please be safe if you do have to head out onto those roadways, to please put on your headlights, to please put on your, wipers, and to keep a very safe distance from other motorists and other drivers.
All right, I know it's been a long week and looks like some long days ahead. Nia, we appreciate you as well as your team. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
All right, we will be right back.
WUSA 9 Weather Watch Alert is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
9:43, and today the hits just keep on coming as far as the snow. All across the area.
Yeah, we knew it was coming, but it's always a challenge when it's overnight and early in the morning, and it just goes and goes and goes, and kind of creates situations on the roads. So yeah,
it's been a lot going on, and the story's been changing all morning long, right? I mean, we expected much less, but as Jonathan was forecasting and tracking, it's been changing, and we've gotten a lot more than we expected.
Oh boy, so what's the latest?
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan, our friend, what
Yes.
is the latest?
We can take, and just on
Surprise
cue, here I
us.
am. Surprise, surprise, right? Well, brings to mind some Instagram songs, right? But in any case, this is what we're expecting to tack on potentially another inch to an inch and a half of snow on top of what we've already seen. I promise you that this snow is going to begin to fill in once again as a coastal system really begins rip-roaring off the Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland coastline. And here is what I was talking about. Some of that snow continuing to backfill, if you will, right along 95, just north of D.C., inside the Beltway, kind of splitting D.C. in half now. Northwest D.C. just beginning to get in on some of the darker blue, and then back down towards 66. Expect that will continue to fill in across portions of the district into this afternoon. So that's why, again, we still are under the Weather Watch alert. We still expect, as all this darker blue begins to fill here on 66, that we will see at least some minor additional accumulations. Could be up to an inch, maybe a couple of inches, but we've got plenty of snow reports that have been coming in from what's already fallen. Now, Caitlin's outside showing us what's going on now and to get into some of those numbers.
Yeah, Jonathan, and I have to give a huge shout out to our crew of engineers here at the station who have cleaned off the weather terrace so well. Right now, despite several inches of snow falling just in the past several hours, it is just wet here on the terrace. And that also has to do with this. We've got a lot of salt treatment down. We're going to talk about why that salt's going to be so effective coming up in just a minute. But first, I do want to show you some of those updated snowfall totals because we just got in a new number from the National Weather Service, about 50.
All right, it looks like we had a little bit of a microphone outage there, but you got the picture. About 3 to 5 inches of snow, give or take, across a good portion of the area. And I'm going with a general 3 to 6 from the area of Baltimore back down to about D.C. inside the Beltway. You get to the southern edge of the Beltway. That's where we start dropping off. Again, right around Reagan National Airport. You're talking maybe about 2 to 4, give or take, right around 3. And then you start going south and it starts dropping off a lot quicker as we get out of the influence of that coastal system that is going to be developing. But the farther north and east you get, the worse the weather is going to be this afternoon. And that's why winter weather advisory is still in effect for D.C. surrounding areas down to Manassas, Culpeper, Front Royal, Winchester, Martinsburg. Now, there is that winter storm warning from Gaithersburg, Montgomery County up to Howard County, Frederick, Carroll County, Maryland, and then down toward Leesburg and the extreme northeastern section of Virginia. So Loudoun County, you're covered there. Temperatures are all about 29 to 32 degrees. So inside the Beltway, around the Beltway, everybody is feeling the issues now with the potential of some more accumulation on the secondary roadways, on potentially some of the driveways, sidewalks. Those are going to be the biggest issues this afternoon. Look at that darker blue. Again, building back in kind of strangely from the northeast to the southwest. So that's going to be that heavier little band I was talking about. Then some squally weather or snow showers, we'll say, through about 5 to 7:30 p.m. And then that should gradually dry shortly after midnight tonight. And temperatures are going to just be absolutely Arctic tomorrow, 27. Watch out for black ice refreeze tonight, back up to 34, sunshine, blustery cold tomorrow. Does turn nice and mild once again, though, into next week. Look at those rain showers Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the 50s. Now, Lindsay's checking in on the roads once again, and she's got some of our VDOT cameras up. it looks pretty bad on some of the bridges.
Yeah, that's right, Jonathan. He's been tracking that snow coming back down, coating our roadways. Thankfully, crews have been out and about treating the roads in Virginia since midnight last night. In Maryland, they've been steady on 270 all morning long, making sure at least the interstate is clear. Here's a live look for you at the Beltway in McLean. This is as you're approaching GW Parkway. As Jonathan just pointed out, the Beltway is in pretty good shape, but it's these bridges, ramps, and overpasses that are still really dangerous and slick for you to drive on. A few hours ago, GW Parkway did close down, so all lanes of traffic currently blocked off in between the Beltway all the way down towards Spout Run Parkway. I do expect this closure to last through the day, maybe even into tomorrow as well. We're also really slow going on the outer loop of the Beltway. We have a car fire on New Hampshire Avenue. Those delays start right after you pass through exit 28B. Use caution if you do have to head out on the roadways. We have a lot of delays across the board.
9:49 is the time right now. We're keeping an eye on flights right now. This video was posted by Reagan National Airport about 90 minutes ago. The DCA snow team hard at work cleaning the runways just after 7 this morning. Despite their hard work, though, delays and cancellations are piling up. Take a live look right now from the so-called misery map from FlightAware. You can see DC is at the top of the list for cancellations in the entire country right now at this moment. How about we take a live look at Reagan National? We just checked in a few minutes ago, and FlightAware reporting more than 120 cancellations at Reagan and 87 delays. Right now, the departure delays are averaging over an hour. There are 102 delays at BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport with 16 cancellations. Dulles International has 30 cancellations and 45 delays, and those numbers are likely to keep rising as the snow picks back up.
Topping a list we don't care to really be topping, right? But check your flight if you're heading out. In the meantime, coming up, we will check back in with our crews around the DMV to get the latest on conditions out there.
I'm Marcella Robertson in Montgomery County. We just got on the Beltway here, the outer loop headed toward Bethesda. We have been tracking the roads for you all morning. This is a live look at what the Beltway looks like right now. Again, the outer loop, things look so much better. I mean, when we first came on the air at 4 o'clock this morning, the roads were in pretty rough shape, but MDOT has had hundreds of crews out treating roads. They are still out there. A reminder for drivers to take it slow and give those plows plenty of space.
I'm Jess Arnold in Northeast DC, and the roads here are really slick. We actually just had a trash collection crew come here and say that they've been having to avoid certain roads just because of how slick they are. They saw a bus that was disabled right down the road here, but you got to take it easy when you're driving out here this morning. As far as the sidewalks go, we do see that some have been cleared, but a lot of them are still filled with snow, guys.
I'm Matt Gregory in Leesburg. Here's your quick and very easy look at the roads here. Leesburg Pike, pretty clear, got some slush on it. Crews have been making quick work of the snow as it comes down and clearing it out. That's the story in the primary roads in Leesburg, but the secondary roads, that's where your problem spots are. Snow is accumulating, crews going to get to them as soon as they can, so if you're going to be out driving, remember, leave yourself space and time to brake and do not accelerate too fast.
I'm Scott Broom, near Laurel. Same advice as from Matt in Virginia. Here in Maryland, we're part of that snow band that Jonathan's been talking about this morning here in Laurel, right along the I-95 corridor. That looks like about 4 inches of snow. The interstate travelers on I-95 are getting through, but there are lines of slush on the roadway as this moderate snow continues to come down, and that creates hazardous conditions where people get their wheels into the slush and it pulls them to the side and in the ditch. So while interstate travelers are getting by and we're seeing a lot of pavement, there is still plenty of slush on the road and more snow coming down adding to that. So it is very much a morning for caution here on I-95 in the northern part of the DMV. Back to you all in the studio.
And tracking plenty of snow for the rest of today on and off through the day. Temperatures really having a hard time reaching freezing, maybe 34, 35 at best. Temperature at 27 for tomorrow, so it's going to be frigid cold, so anything that's on the ground stays there. Could have some refreeze and some very slushy conditions as we head through the rest of today and into tonight. Blustery cold on Sunday, finally a meltdown into next week. We'll be here all day.
Looking forward to that, Jonathan. As Marcella told you just a few minutes ago, Beltway is steadily improving. Crews are still out there salting and brining those roadways, but the bridges and overpasses still pretty slick across the board, as well as your secondary roads and some primaries. GW Parkway still completely closed down from the Beltway all the way down towards Spout Run Parkway. So keep that in mind as you are making your weekend plans. 33 minutes right now coming in from Gainesville.
Wow, thank you both, Lindsay and Caitlin and Mary and Jonathan, everybody, for keeping us right up to date on this winter weather today. We've been working
only
overtime.
storm number 2.
Yeah.
It's just getting started.
Yeah, it's just January. So
Thanks so much for joining us.
We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for watching us. Have a great weekend on purpose.
Be safe.